My hair looks awful, so that's why I think that this will help. Hey, what is good everyone, Chris here, welcome back to the channel. It's very early in the morning and I just watched the Fujifilm Summit that presented all the new cameras and lenses that they were releasing during this month. Actually, by the end of February 2021, they're gonna be available for you to buy. But today I decided to tell you the differences and what we lost and what we're gaining in the Fujifilm X-E4. This is the camera that I'm very interested in, and you know me shooting with my X-E3 all the time. This one and the 27mm f2.8 Mark II are my let's say high priorities when it comes to buying new equipment, because I want to have this too and I really enjoy shooting with the X-E3. If you're thinking about buying the X-E4, you should know exactly what you are about to lose comparing to this one, and what are the things that you're gonna gain comparing to the X-E3. But let's start with the design, and first and foremost we're gonna lose the grip. If you know already, the X-E3 has a very small grip. Right here it's more like a notch that helps you grip the camera better. I do have external grip that helps me grip it even better, but the X-E4 won't have that. It's just a flat surface right there and in the back as well, and we're gonna get to there soon. So the grip is the first thing that we're losing, and if you are like me and you have big hands, it's gonna be tough to hold the camera if you don't have anything. But it does look good. It's all flat, pretty much like an XT100 I think, or 200, the ones that they don't have anything like the XA7, XA5, but it looks good. The problem is, if you want to be a little bit, more secure when you're gripping your camera, that will affect you nonetheless. The second thing is that they got rid of the switch, the AF mode switch right here, where you're switching from single to continuous to manual. That is a downside for me, because I do love this one pretty much all the time when I need to adjust my focus, or depending on the situation I need to change something in my focus. So now it's gonna be in the menus pretty much like the XS10, and that was one of my complaints about the XS10. So if you are agreeing with me, that will probably affect you as well. And this is pretty much the front of the camera. Now going to the back, there are a few changes, and for those of you who are shooting the X-E3, you probably got used with all the buttons and dials, where some of them are gone now. For example, the Q button, the quick menu button, now it's gonna be moved up here on top of the camera, and it's I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Other people complained that they were hitting the button with their thumb and they were getting into the menus. Also, the autofocus lock button is going to be combined with the aperture lock right here on the top, so it's going to be the same button right now. If you're using the exposure lock and the autofocus lock very often, that will probably be a little bit weird for you to switch all the time in between. But for me, it's not a problem. So basically, this little notch here that holds the Q menu and the autofocus lock, it's gonna be gone. We don't have any kind of gripping on this camera. It's all flat front and back. Now right here on the back we have these three buttons: the menu, the display button, and back as well, and the play button. Well, the play button has been moved up here and the view mode button has been replaced. There is no view mode anymore, so you won't be able to change the view from here. I don't know how they thought about that. From the pictures I can tell if they switch it and put it somewhere else. Nonetheless, these are the things on the back, as well as the screen is not going to be fixed. Like I said, it's a tilt screen, and it's actually a tilt up screen, so the screen is gonna go up right here, pretty much like in the XA series, and you will be able to take selfies and all that crazy stuff. But the good thing is that the screen tilts 45 degrees up and down as well, so it can be used if you're shooting from above or if you're shooting way low. That's a great thing. We also have the joystick. It didn't go anywhere, but we lost something more important than all this: the rear dial. There is no rear dial in this camera. We only have the front dial, and this one is definitely gone, which makes me feel that if I wanted to go buy the XE4, I have to switch the front dial to shutter speed, which is totally cumbersome for me. I think I use it on Nikon, on Canon, and I didn't get used to it very easy. Now, on top of the camera, like I said, there is a little bit of a cut right here, and the camera looks, let's say, a little bit different, because that makes it, you know, look like an X Pro 2, maybe an X Pro 3. Nonetheless, we still have the shutter speed dial. We also have the exposure compensation, but we lost an important button for any consumer that goes to buy this camera to use for family shots or for travels, for vacations. The auto button is gone. We don't have an auto button anymore, so you won't be able to switch the camera to auto. Probably you'll be able to do that in the menus, but this button was very helpful, especially when you're in vacation and you're in a place that you actually enjoyed and you want to have a photo out of it with your girlfriend or your family, and you are handing the camera to someone else to shoot the photo. You would just switch it to auto, you would take the photo, you'll be all good, and you know for sure that the photo was in focus and the exposure was perfect. Now that button is gone, so I'm not sure if Fujifilm is aiming this camera to a little bit more of advanced kind of users than just for everyone. So yeah, it is what it is. And another thing is that the FN button now is unmarked. It doesn't say anything, just like the XS10. I think this is the new design that they're trying to go more minimalistic, and no, not much text on buttons or underneath. I'm not sure, but the button is still here. It's just that it's unmarked. So these are pretty much the things that we lost, or they'll be moved or changed. Now, in terms of gaining, we definitely gained the new sensor that is in X-E3 and X Pro 3. It's a BSI sensor, backside illuminated, that will help definitely with the low light situations and would help focusing in low light situations as well. We have a bigger display resolution, a little bit bigger than the X-E3, around 500,000 dots bigger, something like that, 400,000 dots bigger. DVF design changed a little bit. It's a circle, not necessarily a rectangle or a square, whatever it is. This one looks more like a vintage stuff. The new one looks more, you know, modern. So it's probably a decision to make these cameras look a little bit more modern. I'm not sure if that's the point or on this one, because the X-E3 is a mini X Pro and the Pro looks very vintage, and I love the look of that. Sorry, I digressed a little bit. We're talking about gaining. So I said the sensor, the screen is a little bit better. Also, we're gonna have an USB-C charger right here, and we'll probably provide PD, so you'll be able to charge the camera while you're shooting, especially when you're shooting videos. We also have a 3.5mm jack. That's very nice, especially for video shooters who want to put a microphone on top of the camera, or right like this one as a boom if you're trying to film something. It's that's a great thing. And the micro HDMI that is gonna be here. So we basically replaced the micro USB with an USB-C, and the 2.5mm jack with the 3.5mm jack. That is great, and I believe that Fujifilm will gonna provide the USB-C to a 3.5mm jack adapter in the box for if you want to monitor your videos through the headphones. So this is in terms of gaining. Also, this camera is gonna have a 0.02 autofocus speed, pretty much on par with the X-E4 and the X Pro 3, X-T3. The CMOS 4 external sensor has been already verified, like I said, and it's a very reliable sensor that provides more for the X shooters. But these are the things that we're gaining. But these are the things that we're gaining and the things that we're losing. I think we're losing more than we're gaining. But this camera is meant to become a little bit more modern based on what they were releasing with it, the sensors and all the features that it has. The look, it doesn't mean much, though I do love the fact that, like I said, it has a little bit of a cut right here and it looks a bit more professional. It's gonna be small. It's, I think, around 400 250 grams, something like that. So not gonna be a burden for you to carry it every day. Also, we're gonna talk about the 27mm f2.8 Mark II that they just released with it, and they actually matched up and created a kit for around $1,050 US dollars. I think it's a good buy. I'm not sure if you will be more inclined to buy the XS10 at the same price or just go for the XE4. But the XE4 capabilities, it's huge. You can shoot 4K videos up to 30 frames per second at 200 megabytes per second, and also we can go down to 1080p 240 frames per second in slow motion. I think it's again 100 or 200 megabytes per second. That is amazing. It doesn't shoot 422, but I think it has an option to shoot it via HDMI. It also shoots 30 frames per second in shutter, electronic shutter. It also shoots 8 frames per second in mechanical shutter. You have everything you need in this small form factor, and if you are a travel photographer or a street photographer, I think the XE4 will appeal to you nonetheless. But XE3 still holds a great value in my opinion, and for the money that you're paying on this camera that is going to be retired soon, if not already, as well as the 27mm f2.8, so you can go buy an XE3 and the 27mm f2.8 Mark II for the same price you're buying the body of an XE4. Now, it's your decision. I hope these videos help you. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified all the time I'm putting videos up. Also, give these videos a thumbs up, and thank you so much for supporting me. This is the only support that I'm asking. All these products that I'm reviewing are bought with my money, and nobody's sending me anything. So whatever I'm saying about them, it's just my opinion. Nobody gets anything before you. That is what it is. Please stay focused, my friends, and I will definitely see you in a bit.